Welcome back, part 2 of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I'm Ryan Thomas, your host, bringing you the latest in NFL, MLB, MMA. Last night, UFC 209 went down. Tyron Woodley retained his title. I had it 3 rounds to 2. I'm going to talk about that in the next part, so tune into that. But for now, I'm going to talk about my 32 teams, 32 picks, 32 days. And we have the New York Jets up next, 6th overall for the 2017 NFL Draft, which will take place April 27th. Round 1 will take place April 27th, and then rounds 2 and 3 will be the day after that, April 28th, and rounds 4 to 7 will be April 29th, all leading up to my 25th birthday on April 30th. So don't forget to wish me a happy birthday. I'd appreciate it. That being said, the New York Jets pick 6th, as I stated. Where will the New York Jets go? What direction should they go in? Which direction should they go in for the 6th overall selection? It's clear that the New York Jets are in full rebuilding mode. Full-on rebuilding mode. They're cutting guys left and right. Veteran players like Nick Mangold, Darrelle Revis, obvious for obvious reasons. But I think they would have cut him regardless had he been not in the legal troubles that he is in. Long in the tooth. Definitely showed signs of wear and tear. Showed signs of slowing down. I would anticipate that they would cut him without a doubt. You look at the moves that they're making, and it is what I would wish for the Buffalo Bills. The Jets have washed their hands of roughly $46 million in salary cap space, cutting the before-mentioned Nick Mangold, cutting the before-mentioned Darrelle Revis, Brandon Marshall, Ryan Clady, Brino Giancamini, and Brio Giacomini, I should say, kicker Nick Folk, and linebacker Aaron Henderson. The Jets front office is also putting the league on notice in making these moves, as they are fully open to trading the 6th overall selection in this year's NFL Draft to acquire more picks. This is the right strategy when you are a team with plenty of holes. You need to cut the older dead weight, open up the cap, and acquire more picks to take young talent. I would rather be the Jets right now. Yes, listen to my words. I would rather be the New York Jets right now than the Buffalo Bills. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I'm a huge Bills fan. I do what I can to support them, even when I can't stand the decisions that they make as a franchise. But, hashtag full deck of cards. A full deck of cards for the New York Jets to play with heading into this draft. They're open to trading the 6th overall pick. I have to preface my statements from here on out by saying the Jets are open to trading this pick, because the Jets are doing what I am doing. They are putting the league and everyone else on notice that the 6th overall pick is up for grabs. Come get it. Give me your best shot. So with that being said, I anticipate that there could be a trade here, much like I anticipate there could be a trade first, or possibly even 1st overall, possibly even 2nd overall, possibly even 3rd overall. Anytime you're talking about a top 10 pick that a team holds, we could realistically see a trade take place. But for argument's sake and for circumstance sake, the circumstance show that they still have the 6th overall pick, and I'm going to make the best pick for them with this 6th overall pick. I'm going to go with the pick that I think is most likely for the New York Jets. Now, being that they're in full rebuilding mode, being that they don't have a quarterback, it could easily be stated that the Jets should go after a quarterback. Kaiser, Watson, Trubisky, one of those guys. One of those guys on my board is already gone. I'm not going to tell you who it is, again, because I want you guys to listen to the remainder of this segment from start to finish. So with that being said, what is the one position on offense that can provide the Jets a catalyst without a quarterback. A catalyst to their offense that's not a quarterback. It's definitely not a wide receiver because they don't have the quarterback to throw him the ball. Hackenberg is raw. Geno Smith, he hasn't done much of anything. They'll probably let him go. Bryce Petty, I thought he'd be a decent quarterback heading into the league, but he looks a little too raw, too experimental for now. Maybe down the road he could be somebody, but as of now, not that good. 2014, Tony Romo had one of his best seasons in the National Football League. Easily the best season in his career. Why? Why did that happen? It happened because he could take the ball, hand it off to a running back like DeMarco Murray, a downhill runner that would run you over or die trying. One man reminds me of DeMarco Murray in this running back draft class. One man reminds me of Adrian Peterson in this NFL draft class. And that man is Louisiana State Tiger Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette. If you don't know who Leonard Fournette is, go on YouTube after you're done listening to the show today. Look him up. You will see that Leonard Fournette is a rare talent. A combination of size, strength, and speed that I haven't seen since Adrian Peterson came out in 2007. When he came out of the draft, eyes opened. When Darren McFadden came out of the draft, eyes opened. Unfortunately, he went to the wrong team, and it provided him with a lackluster career. He wasn't what we anticipated him to be. Had he went to another team, he could have been great, but the Raiders were a disaster. Back to the original point, though, Leonard Fournette could be the guy that could be the crutch for whoever lines up at quarterback for the New York Jets. Whether it's Hackenberg, whether it's Smith, whether it's Petty, whether it's somebody else that they take in the second or third round of this year's draft, or fourth or fifth round, whoever is lined up at quarterback, he could be a crutch for that quarterback. It could very well be Tony Romo if Denver and Houston fall out of the sweepstakes. I don't see that happening, but it could happen. So, for a rookie quarterback who forever their quarterback is of the future, for him to know that he could literally just drop back, hand the ball off to Leonard Fournette, let him do the rest, throw Leonard Fournette the ball. Leonard Fournette is a guy that can make do with a okay offensive line. He'd obviously do better with a great offensive line, but not many guys are willing to run up to him and say, I'm going to bring you down. And when they try, they fall down. So it's either going to be him falling forward or the guy falling backwards. One of the two. And this guy is I'm very high on him. As far as running backs go, he's one of the best running backs to come out of this draft. And this is a great running back class. A great running back class. Fournette played his freshman, sophomore, and junior year. I always preface my statement after this by saying that I'm not a big fan of guys foregoing their senior season, but Fournette's stock is higher than ever, even though he suffered an injury this season as a senior. He had some knee problems, he had some leg problems, but full bill of health by the doctors at the combine, ran a 4.540, looked very strong, looked very agile for the size that this man has, the agility that he has. I wouldn't say he's the most elusive back, but he doesn't necessarily need to be because he can make up for it with his power. The one knock on Leonard Fournette that made him my number 2 running back in this year's draft class is the wear and tear that is on his body. He has had a lot of carries in his time at LSU. Too many to count. So, another dynamic of Leonard Fournette that made headlines was the fact that he decided to skip the Citrus Bowl, which I talked about on the TTSP, alluding to the fact that I could care less if he decides to skip the Citrus Bowl. He's not obligated to play in it. He reached the pinnacle. That was his decision. Who are we to criticize? His weight at the combine was 240. It was the heaviest he'd ever been. That's something to monitor. That could slow down his speed, and I think it might have. I think if he was a little bit leaner, 235, 232 even, not to sound picky, but every pound makes that much of a difference. Le'Veon Bell weighed up to 240 pounds after his rookie season. He trimmed down to 220. Big difference. 225 he's at now. Big difference. A completely different running back. He had played at 235, 240 in college at Michigan State and then lost the weight as a pro. And it completely made him an elusive running back, one of the most patient running backs in the league. If Leonard Fournette can drop some weight, I think he could be even better. You look at the division. I do this with every one of the 32 teams in 32 days, 32 picks. Tom Brady is a juggernaut. Juggernaut of a quarterback. The train keeps rolling in New England. Miami has a solid defense, solid defensive line. Buffalo has a solid defensive line, even though they're transitioning back to the 4-3. But having a running back of the caliber of Leonard Fournette is something that no team should scoff at taking the chance of here at 6th overall. No team should scoff at it. Regardless of what I just said of his weight, that's something to monitor. You put him in this situation as a pro, playing with the New York Jets, being the face of the New York Jets offense. They have Matt Forte for him to lean on, to be the veteran presence in his career early on the onset. It makes perfect sense, and it's a perfect fit for the situation that the Jets are in right now. The running game, whoever said the running game is dying in the National Football League, they were wrong. Because you see two rookie running backs, Ezekiel Elliott and Jordan Howard, come in and revitalize the offenses. Even though the Bears had a down year, Howard was the only bright spot on their offense besides Cameron Meredith and Alshon Jeffrey. Howard was the true bright spot of their team. Jeffrey had off-the-field issues. Meredith had some good weeks, had some bad weeks. Howard was the only consistent player on the Chicago Bears offense the entire year from when he started starting games. Fournette could be a huge piece to this Jets team, similarly to Marshawn Lynch on the Seahawks, similarly to Adrian Peterson on the Vikings. A huge cog in their offense. While they don't have a quarterback, they do have two decent running backs. One of them is going to be great. The other one's on the downslide of his career. And Fournette is regarded as one of the best running backs since Adrian Peterson to come out of the class. A running back like Fournette, used properly, could keep a guy like a Tom Brady off the field, could keep a guy like a Jay Ajayi off the field, keep a guy like a Tyrod Taylor if he is kept, and a LaShawn McCoy and a Sammy Watkins off the field. He's a grinding runner, a guy that will wear down defenses and punish those that try to bring him down. And I like that pick for the New York Jets. Leonard Fournette going 6th overall to the Jets. That's how I have it. 1 through 6 is done. I'm Ryan Thomas. Tune in for the 7th overall selection, which is held by the Los Angeles Chargers. It still feels weird saying that. Thanks for tuning in.